Hello, everyone. It is week 11. The semester is going really fast. Too fast for me, to be honest. I hope we're all doing well. Hope your projects are progressing well. We need to talk about them. We have a couple choices here. I've been thinking, I think I like, since we have 9 groups, so we'll have 9 proposal videos, I think I'd like 3 videos a week. And I think that'd be okay. Right now, I'm thinking weeks 13, 14, and 15 will have videos. And I'm trying to think what would be the best way we make them do. Have everyone's videos ready or have your group's videos ready that week? I think that's fair. To be perfectly honest, I don't think you're going to spend a lot. If I give you more time, I think you'll spend your time working on other things. But that's just my experience. So, for deciding the presentation order, we have 2 choices. One, completely random. That's fine. Completely random, just figure it out. Or 2, you decide and try to schedule what week you would like to go on. And that's fine either way, but weeks 13, 14, and 15, we'll figure it out. I'll set it up a vote on eClass, and you can decide if you want random order or decide amongst yourselves order. That either way is fine, but we'll set that up on eClass. There's a mosasaur right there. It sees us. But we are doing well overall. This week, another thing, I'm sorry, I'm getting scatterbrained. About your presentations, there is no minimum length. It needs to be as long as you need it to be. That's all. So don't worry about if it only turns out to be 5 minutes. Fine, great. Everybody will appreciate that, it being a little bit shorter. So make it as long as you need it to be to answer your questions, to make your case. There's no minimum amount of time. I don't think you'll do a good job if it's only 1 minute long. I don't think that will work. But make it as long as you need it to be. Next week, we're not going to talk about technology exactly. We're going to talk about evaluating presentations and what we can look for. So I think it's another facet of teaching and teaching with technology about being aware and knowledgeable to be able to evaluate and have our, what will be the word, have our cynical lenses on, our BS meter, as in to be able to tell what's a good idea, what's a bad idea, what's a feasible idea as well. So that would be an actual in-depth one. This week, I'm going to bring up the idea of 3D printing, which we already know about, but it's a bit interesting in that 3D printing offers a lot of possibilities in material creation. Of course, it's expensive. It costs money, but it's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and that's really cool. So this week, I'm preparing videos about 3D printing, and 3D printing, of course, can be applied not just to English education, but to most any subject. That opens a lot of possibilities. And since English education, especially for elementary school students, it's a lot more conversational and task-based learning, being able to use physical objects is really helpful there. So quite nice. So this week, we've got the videos about 3D printing, and then we've got some more things to talk about. We'll have the voting on eClass about how we want to set the presentation order. And I'm also going to ask you for another status update, just how you're doing, how you are progressing about everything else. All right. I have a short screen capture lecture on 3D printing, and then we'll see you at the end. For this week, I'd like to show us some examples of 3D printing and how really cool they can be, really. because it can be 3D printing. Of course, it can be used for not just English class. It could be used for most any class, really. I've been reading about 3D printing, the practical uses of it. There is a cost, of course, and it's not automatic. It does take time to learn to do, and learn to do it well. And in America, there are now classes just on 3D printing, as in CAD, the computer assisted design. They're designing models, and then they print them out. And so they're learning how to do it. The students are, then they make their own things, which is quite neat in and of itself. And we'll include those in the additional materials. But if we look down here, we can see some of these things that other classes have used. And these are particular with like the Tyrannosaurus Rex skull, or this is a loom that they made, printing 3D printing of monuments from around the world. So, it helps with learning about cultures and other nations. So it's quite interesting to do, or printing out the Egyptian hieroglyphics and other things. So for English class, being able to print the material, print the actual physical items, if we have, say, plastic fruit or other, plastic money as well, those are quite helpful. Of course, they're all very specialized in how we do it, but every lesson where we have an activity where we need to do something, we need to have an exchange of apples or fruit, or with involving money, or other things like cars and giving directions. 3D printing is an interesting way of making and these new materials, and quite interesting, and it's a bit fascinating to see how people and how some of these teachers and students, what they've been able to do with it. Printing little flags, I think that's pretty neat. Designing and printing, that's the important thing. Designing and printing. We're back, and there's a velociraptor trying to help fix the electricity. That's kind of him. All right, so yes, again, we have these additional videos we'll be watching online about 3D printing and what some schools have been doing with 3D printing. Some schools have special classes for them, which I think you probably know already. There's after-school classes in Korea for 3D printing. People are mad outside, and it is an interesting new skill to work with. So I need you to check on eClass for the vote and eClass for your short update video, and then we'll figure out presentation orders. Next week will be back to an old-fashioned regular me boring you out for 30 minutes for talking about evaluating presentations. So just sit back and enjoy the drop. All right. Have a good week.